Assalamu alaikum students, how are you all? Hope you all are good and doing well. So students, today is the fifth lecture of our chapter number 1, which is science skills. So students, up till now we have studied about science, laboratory safety, taking measurements, making difficult measurements and handling data. In handling data, we have studied about bar chart and table. So let's continue from it. Our next topic in handling data is line graphs and pie charts. So students, line graph is the one in which we draw a line on the graph and we use graph paper. So students, for more concept, let's read it. Line graphs. A line graph is useful because it also shows results as a picture. You can also use it to read off values which you have not measured. This graph shows how the temperature of a cup of tea changes over 10 minutes. So students, line graph is the one in which we can also see the result as a picture. Means when we look at the line graph, we at once just notice the result, that what results are being obtained from the experiment. In this line graph, the temperature of cup of tea is shown. The temperature is given in y-axis, which is vertical, and the time is given on the x-axis, which is horizontal axis. The temperature is listed as 10 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees Celsius, 30 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius, 50 degree, 60 degree and 70 degrees Celsius. And the time is mentioned from 0 to 10 minutes. So students, let's have a look on this graph. You can see when no time passed, the temperature of the tea was up to 60 degrees Celsius. As the time passes, the temperature also goes on decreasing. At 1 minute, the temperature falls to 40 degrees Celsius. As the time reaches 2 minutes, the temperature falls to 30 degrees Celsius. And as the time goes on increasing, the temperature goes on decreasing, and at the last it becomes constant. At 10 minutes, the temperature falls to 20 degrees Celsius. So this is how that we use line graph to obtain our result from the experiment. Did you know the highest air temperature ever recorded on Earth was 56.7 degrees Celsius at Death Valley, USA on 10th July 1913. It's the temperature that they said that it was the highest air temperature that was recorded on Earth on 10th July 1913, when the temperature was 56.7 degrees Celsius at Death Valley. Okay. So the next one is pie chart. That how we organize the data in the form of pie chart. A pie chart is another way of showing information as a picture. It's also a way of showing result or display the result. The size of the slices in the pie chart indicate the proportions of numerical data. It's like the pies of pizzas. Like as we eat pizza in the form of pie, this pie chart is just like in that form. In this pie chart, the data is just given in the form of numeric. This pie chart is showing the proportion of students liking each season of the year. That how many percent of students like summer, how many students like winter, how many students like spring, and how many like autumn. So from this chart, we can easily observe that 50% of the students like summer season, as the pie is larger than all the pies. And the 25% of the students like winter season, 16% of the students like spring season, and 9% of the students like autumn season. So students, let's come toward the test yourself, which is the test yourself number 5 of the chapter number 1, which is on page number 10. Look at the line graph above. what was the temperature of the tea at the start? They are saying that just look at the line graph and tell us that what was the temperature of the tea at the start. So, when we look at the graph, we come to know that at the start of the time, that when the time was almost 0, the temperature of tea was 60 degree. Look, it is 60 degrees Celsius. Next question is, how long did it take for the temperature of the tea to fall to 30 degrees Celsius? Now they are asking that how long the temperature takes for tea to fall at 30 degree, like how time it took. So students, first of all, look at the x-axis and look at the y-axis. Firstly, see that y-axis, there is 30 degrees Celsius temperature. Now compare it to the time. As the temperature reaches this line, then coming towards downward, we come to know that after 2 minutes the temperature falls to 30 degrees. So answer is after 2 minutes. Next part is, what was the temperature of the room where this experiment was carried out? Now you have to tell that at what temperature the experiment was carried out. So the temperature of the room was 20 degrees Celsius. Now students, second is, look at the pie chart. Okay. A part is, which is the most popular season of the year for this group of students. So, by looking at the pie chart, you can easily tell that summer is the most likely season of the year, because it is about 50%. It is liked by 50% of the students. Second question is, what proportion of the students choose spring as their favorite season? Now they are asking that how many students like the spring season. So, by looking at the chart, we can easily tell that 16% of the students like the spring season. Part C is, this data came from 40 students. How many students choose winter as their favorite student? They are saying that this data is come from 40 students. Now you have to tell that from there in this graph pie chart only the percentage is given, but you have to tell that how many number of students like this season. So for this, what we will do, we will calculate it somehow. So students, they have asked that if the students are 40, then how many students like the winter season? So from above data, we know in the book or in the pie chart, the students that like 25% of the winter season are from the 100 number of students. Okay, out of 100 students, how many students like winter season? 25%. But if the students are 40, then we have to tell from 40 number of students. What we will do, we will multiply 40 with 25 and divide it with 100. After some cutting process, we came to know that 10 students out of 40 students like winter season. So students, this is all about today's lecture. Hope you understand well. Take care students. Allah Hafiz. Thank you so much.